looks like something's going wrong. I think the men may have jumped the start.
It was going too perfectly.
There go the women.
Yeah. The elite men did jump the start, and now the women have started. There was probably a moment when they thought, what should we do? Should we try and bring them back, which is traditional, or let them go?
No power on earth could stop them now. Larry, Rawson, do you know anything about what happened there?
Jim, I was right in the thick of things. I might add this: for your watches to judge the women's time, start your watches approximately 45 seconds after the men broke. What happened was the men surged up to the front, and they didn't belong there in the first place, and there were not enough people in the front to control them. Every time we in our vehicles, the police included, and the lead vehicles, started to move forward to get away from them, they kept pushing and moving up beyond the starting line. And I stood up and tried to yell at them, stay there, stay there. Others did too, but they kept surging. And once they went beyond us, everybody started to run en masse, and we had a difficult time getting free of the pack to get up here. So they just broke on their own.
The best laid plans of mice and men, huh?
Well, that is a $60,000 question, because what if the record is broken? In the men's race, they will not only win $20,000 for winning, but they most assuredly will win between $35,000 and $60,000, depending on what the final time is. And now the time can't be official. There was a 45-second head start. They may have to go back and figure out if the winner jumped the gun or not.
Well, I think you ought to get out there and put your hands up. Everybody go back again, you know? So the story has at least begun. The story of the runners, the people of New York gathered along the way, 2 million strong, and the city of New York itself. What's it like to run across that bridge, I wonder? Well, we asked the runners.
When I'm on the bridge, the environment takes over, and I feel like I can do anything.
It's really incredibly exciting to be on that bridge and be surrounded by the thousands of people. It's kind of like a big party. You forget for a few minutes that you have this long haul to do.
If you're on the lower level of the start, you can hear the people shouting and kind of letting off that excess energy, and it echoes, and you get this roar, the echo of the roar, and it's really quite an experience.
The one thing you notice is that 25,000 people, it's a lot of people. I mean, it's a whole city just moving at the same time.
It's quite a wonderful feeling to be surrounded with all those runners. It's also nerve-wracking because you tend to look at the other people's legs and think, oh, this one has much more muscle. Will I be able to finish this race?
As you go over the Verrazano-Narrows Bridge into Brooklyn, you get the most awesome, quintessential view of lower New York and the harbor and the upper New York Bay and New Jersey in the background. I mean, that's what New York is all about.
The bridge starts to shake as 25,000 people or so are running over it. You don't expect the shaking, and you think it's your knees that are shaking, but then you realize it's the bridge.
I look forward to the excitement and the fun and the festivity and the end. I look forward to crossing that finish line and feeling like a hero of the city. I mean, there are 15 or 25,000 heroes that day. It's a wonderful experience.
The pictures live, the comments, of course, recorded earlier by some of the runners in the race. Of course, to the New Yorkers in the race, this is really nothing new. It kind of looks like this in the subway every morning. But to those from out of town, imagine a guy from Montana or Idaho or up in the mountains someplace coming to this city and then be in the middle of all this. It has to be a lifetime experience. And where will this odyssey lead the runners along that long blue line? Well, Hani Shahade, a street artist, drew a map of the course for us right on the sidewalks of New York, and Nick Hartman, an inline skate stunt performer, will take us through the course right now.
Yo, down here! Not him, me. Hi, I'm Nick. I'm here to give you a personalized tour of the New York City Marathon. Now, there are many ways you can go through this course. Stay with me if you can. This is not a recommended way to do this course. The traditional way is that the runners start in Staten Island and make a 2-mile run across the Verrazano Bridge
To the borough of Brooklyn. They spend 11 miles here and run through some really cool neighborhoods like Bay Ridge and Williamsburg, trekking up 4th Avenue.
and into the Greenpoint section, where you can find some excellent delis. Some extra kielbasa, please.
Then, at about 13.1 miles into the race, the halfway mark for the marathon, the runners will cross the Pulaski Bridge into the borough of Queens for 3 miles.
And at this point, the runners might be getting a little hungry. So they're going to have a great chance to sample some of the wonderful pizza in Queens. Can you say, hold the anchovies?
The runners use the 59th Street Bridge to go from Queens to Manhattan. Once across, they head up 1st Avenue where the crowd goes wild for about 4 miles. Then into the 5th borough.
The Bronx, home of the New York Yankees and the soft pretzel. Excuse me, Buffy, do you have any Grey Poupon? Well, thank you.
The 26.2-mile race ends here in the world-famous Central Park. The more elite runners will be finishing the race in just over 2 hours, while other people will be crossing the line on their hands and knees at about midnight.
Okay, a look at the course. And they'll be going over the Verrazano Bridge for some time. There's the French flag being proudly carried by one of the runners. So, and now the elite women, the favorites, have taken to the lead right away. Number 2 there is Lisa Ondieki. Number 1, Olga Markova. And behind Ondieki is Yamamoto, I believe, of Japan. Yeah, there they are.
At 5, Kim Jones, Kamala Gratis. So the women have really gotten off, and already we've seen Lisa answering a lot of the questions we had about her.
Right, Marty. I think most people expected her to take the lead based on experience. Olga has usually come from behind, as she did last year in New York, and Yoshiko Yamamoto came from behind in this year's Boston Marathon.
Well, Lisa had a different way of preparing for this race. She didn't come into New York until Friday night, just the night before last.
Right, Jim. She flew in from Flagstaff late Friday night. She didn't want to leave altitude until the 11th hour.
We'll see how it works out for her as she takes the lead very quickly in the New York City Marathon. Have a look at the men now, Marty.
The men's situation, number 23 is Paul Pilkington, and he is a rabbit being asked to pace the first half of the race in 64 minutes, or 1:04 for the first half marathon pace. Just blocking him now with the sunglasses is Chevalier of France. This is the number 1 seed, Willie Matolo of South Africa. Number 1.
A rabbit leading in the men's division, but the favorites right out there very quickly in the women's division. It's the New York City Marathon, still on the bridge. 26 miles to go.